Our next lesson in the transformations unit deals with translations. In elementary school, you called them slides. Okay, so our essential question is, how do I translate an object? All right, our first and actually only vocabulary word today is translation. Let's highlight that. Translation means to vertically or horizontally shift or slide a figure. Okay, symbolically. So we take our original ordered pair and we use the arrow just like we used in conditional statements. We say x plus h and y plus k, which would be our image. So h represents your horizontal shift. If you go to the right, that's going to be positive. If you go to the left, it's going to be negative. K represents the vertical shift. If you go up, it's going to be positive. If you go down, it's going to be negative. So let's try this. We've got a rhombus, and we are going to use this translation. All right, graph the rhombus. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so I graphed my pre-image, and now I am going to find my image using a horizontal shift of +2 and a vertical shift of -2. So let's start with R. I'm going to go to the right 2 and then down 2 to find R prime. Let's go to Q. Right 2, down 2, Q prime. S, right 2, down 2, S prime, and T, right 2, down 2, T prime. So before I connect them, I like to write stuff down. It gets a little crowded on here for me. -2, +5 for Q. R is at 2, 6. S is at 1. Whoops, I wrote 2 and said 1, didn't I? 1, 2, and T prime is at -3, 1. Connect them, and we're done. I love translations because it's all counting, and I'm fairly good at counting, so it makes me happy. All right, I want you to pause the video and try number 2 on your own. Take a look at this transformation. Where are you going to go, left or right? And are you going to go up or down? All right, take a minute to check your work. You should have moved 3 to the left and then 8 up for each point. Labeled them, drawn in the triangle, and listed the ordered pairs to the side. All right, now let's do it backwards. I've got a translation here, and I need to describe what's going on. I need to write the rule. So the rules are always going to start the ordered pair XY with an arrow. Okay, now let's look at D. And then D prime, right? I'm going from D, which is at -3, +3, to D prime, which is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 7. So how do I go from -3 to +4? Well, I'm adding 7. Now let's look at our Y's. How do I go from 3 to 7? Well, I'm adding 4. It's as simple as that. I want you to try creating this rule on your own, so pause your video. Okay, take a minute to take a look at what you did. I chose M to look for my rule. You could have chose any of the letters. When I went to check myself, I chose P. And in fact, if I start at P and I count 4 to the left and then 2 up, which is what my rule says, I'm at P prime. So I know I found my rule correctly. Now let's look at number 5, because number 5 is an example of one of the things we do to you in high school. And that is, we're going to reflect and then we're going to translate. So let's start by graphing this triangle. -3, 7, -2, 1, and -5, 2. C, D, and E. Now, when you get these problems where they ask you to do more than one transformation, you have to do them in order. If you do them out of order, you will get the wrong answer. So we have to start with reflecting in the x-axis. Here's my x-axis. So I am going to reflect in that x-axis. Let's see, D is 1 above, D prime will be 1 below. C is 7 above, C prime will be 7 below. E is 2 above, E prime will be 2 below. Done. Now I need to do a translation. I need to move 9 to the right and 2 up. So let me start with D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the right, 2 up. D double prime is at 7, 1. Let's go with C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up 2. C double prime is at 6, -5. Now let's go with E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 up. E double prime is at 4, 0. Make sure you draw in that last figure. So we have done both a reflection and a translation to get our final answer. Okay, I want you to try number 6 on your own. Pause the video. Be careful with your reflection. All right, take a minute to check it. This one got pretty messy with all of those lines of reflection. Okay. So I started off in blue and I reflected across my line y equals x, which is in red. I drew in, using green, lines with the opposite reciprocal slope of -1 and then counted on the diagonals to find my first image. Then I went 3 to the left and 7 down to find my second image. Pause your video and actually check this. Make sure you did it correctly. Let's do another one. This time we're going to translate first before we reflect. So pause the video and try this. Okay, take a minute to check this. First I translated. I moved right 7 and down 6. And then I reflected in the line y equals -3. Look at what happened to D prime and D double prime. D prime was on my line of reflection. So D double prime didn't move. They're the exact same point when you're on the line of reflection. All right, let's take a look at some of these without graphs. Let's describe our translations using some coordinate notation. So to begin with, the ordered pair xy and the arrow. 4 units to the right would be x plus 4, and 3 units up would be y plus 3. The ordered pair xy with the arrow, 1 unit to the left. Okay, that's x minus 1. There's nothing here about y, so y is going to stay the same. All right, let's try to do some of this without an actual graph. Now remember, xy represents your pre-image, and this one represents your image. So if I want to know the image of 1, 1, I want 1, 1 is my pre-image. So 1, 1 will become 1 plus 4 is 5, and 1 minus 6 is negative 5. What is the pre-image of 0, 4? This means I'm working backwards, right? So instead of adding 4 to x, I need to subtract 4. Let's actually write it. Go backwards. It'll be x minus 4 and y plus 6. We're going to do the opposite. So 0 minus 4 is negative 4, and 4 plus 6 is 10. There's my pre-image. What is the image? So my pre-image is negative 3, 6. This is going to become, let's see, negative 3 plus 4 is 1, and 6 minus 6 is 0. What is the pre-image? I am going backwards, so I need to do the opposite of my rule. I need to do minus 4 and positive 6. So let's see. 2, negative 4. I have to go backwards. 2 minus 4 is negative 2, and negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. All right. So this is asking me to figure out the rule. Right here, it's giving me the ordered pairs like I have in my answers above, and it's asking me to figure out what happens to x and y. All right, well, let's look at my x values. How do I go from negative 4 to negative 6? I have to subtract 2, so x minus 2. How do I go from let's look at my y values. How do I go from 5 to 2? Subtract 3. And you're done. Pause your video and try number 15. Okay, check your work there. For the x, we added 1. And for y, we did nothing. Okay, for your summary, I want you to explain what a translation is and how you actually do it, both when it's on a graph and when it's just the numbers like this last page.